Hey, what's up? This is Jacko, and thank you for joining me on the Eli frequency today. You could have been anywhere on Earth at this moment, but I'm glad you're here with me. So as not to waste your time today, let's jump right into it. We're talking about interracial dating or marriage, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. But first, let's hear from a very outspoken person with regard to this situation. His name is Dr. Umar Johnson, and he has very strong thoughts about this, let's just say. So, with no further ado, let's just get into what he has to say about it. Then I'll give you my thoughts.
Simply put, any black man who is with a woman who's not an African herself is going to have a difficult time getting respect from me. I believe black men need to be with black women. The black family is under attack. Only 1 out of every 4 black women gets married. The black woman is last likely to get married. She's the last married, the first divorced. We have what? 2/3 of our children being raised by working class and impoverished single black female led households. The destruction of a nation begins in the home of its families. And if we want to save black people, we have to save the black family. And in order to do that, black men have to commit themselves to black women.
So when you talk about not getting your respect, so if that's the case, you're saying President Barack Obama to get your respect because his dad married a white woman?
Oh, not at all.
Would Harry Belafonte?
Not at all. I want to be very clear about something. As Pan-Africanists, the product of an interracial union is an African. I have heroes who are biracial. Some of the grandfathers of Pan-Africanism were of mixed racial ancestry. You don't blame a child for how they got here.
But I'm asking you this here. Harry Belafonte has a white wife. No respect for him?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your social status.
So no. I didn't say social. I'm talking about the one who put the work.
Right, but you put him out.
No. I'm asking you. So Harry Belafonte.
Yes, sir.
Sidney Poitier, Julian Bond, Vernon Jordan.
And you're naming all them to say what?
No, these are all African American men who have
done some good things.
No, who married white women. But you said any black man who marries a white woman will not get your respect.
Can I respond?
Yeah, go ahead.
And what I'm telling you is this: I don't care who you name. I don't care how much work you did for black people. Your greatest commitment to black people is being committed to a black woman. It is still a contradiction. No matter how much you think you did for the struggle, if you really were concerned with black people, you would have committed yourself to a black woman. So it doesn't matter how successful they are. It doesn't matter how great you may claim them to be. At the end of the day, you didn't think enough about your own people to marry a woman who looks like you.
Okay, so with all that, he said that he doesn't care what they did for the struggle. He doesn't care. And this is the same guy who's taken now 11 years to build a school that has still not opened yet. And he's taken donations to open this school. Now, the people who have donated are a large percentage of them are black women. So he runs this scam everywhere he goes, all across the country. He brags about being the most requested black scholar. And this is one of his main points of focus. Not opening that school. He doesn't like when people talk to him about the school. He talks about how no one knows what it takes to open a school, so they can't tell him anything. But he's a one-man show trying to open a school. He asked for volunteers to help with the contracting of the painting and the ductwork, the HVAC systems, and people have volunteered over the course of this 10 years, and he's been getting FundMe, PayPal, all kind of ways to get money from people to help build this school. Right, but we're not talking about that right now. But I just wanted to give you a picture of who this guy is. And I was first introduced to him on a film that I loved called Hidden. It's not the one with the the women working for NASA, the black women working for NASA. That's a phenomenal film too. But this one is called Hidden Colors. That one's Hidden Figures. This one is Hidden Colors. It's like a 4-part series, and he was in the first one, maybe the first two, but him and Nasheed, the director and producer of the film, have been getting into it over the years. So he wasn't in the second one or the third one. I mean, the third or the fourth one. I'm not sure about the second one. So I have all of them, and they are excellent films and very informative. And I would urge you to take a look at those. And it gives you vast knowledge from scholars around the world, black scholars, including Dr. Umar Johnson. And they talk about a variety of issues and things, such as how blacks were here before Columbus. Van Sertima has a book that called "They Were Here Before Columbus." That's another good book to read. And so to fast forward, this is one of the scholars, and he was very intriguing to me when I heard him speak in the movie. He was very informed. He had a lot of knowledge, and so I started to follow him, and then he would go everywhere and talk about, this is one of his topics that he would definitely speak on when he's out, how he's very much against interracial dating. And so I listened to him and, listened to his points and everything, and just to see if I agreed with it. And if he had valid information. And of course, he has valid points and valid information because he's a very educated man. But, in my opinion, he uses his education to twist and warp the facts. Just like here. I forgot the host's name, but I like the host. I agree with some things he says too on a lot of his shows. Um, I wish I remembered his name, but I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, he says the host started naming Belafonte and people who have done a lot of things in the pro-black movement, but married white women. And Dr. Johnson, goes on to say that he doesn't care who you name and what they've done for the cause. If they don't care enough about themselves to marry a woman who looks like them. Then he started naming percentages of black women that get divorced and all of this stuff. Now, mind you, this is a man, a couple of points I'm trying to get to, but this is a man who's named his school that hasn't been successfully created yet. Well, the building was there, so he purchased the building with the GoFundMe money he raised, and all he had to do was fix the building up to par so it can pass inspection. So that's what has taken him 10 years. Now, in 10 years, you could have built a brand new building and tore that one down if it was that bad, but I digress. So the name of the school that he's trying to build or open is the FDMG School for black kids, for black boys, I think it is, in Delaware. Number one, how many black people are in Delaware? I'm not aware, but Delaware? I mean, you could have went to a number of places that there were more black boys, but Delaware is where it is, where it's supposed to be. So the FDMG stands for the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey School, right? So he goes around saying that he is lineage of Frederick Douglass or Marcus Garvey, one of the two. I forget. And the family has come out and contested that and said he is not a relative of Frederick Douglass or Marcus Garvey, whichever one it was. And he still refutes what they say and says, you know, somewhere down the line, his DNA is the DNA, whatever. Now, Frederick Douglass also had a white wife. And he will be quick to tell you that his first wife was black and he was married to her for 44 years and she died. That's what his defense is. He says that's a stain on his legacy, but because his first wife was black and they were married for 44 years. But he just said in this show that it doesn't matter who you name. So we're naming one of his heroes, a hero so much to him that he named his defunct, never exists, never has been in existent school after him. Now, if you were married as a black man for 44 years to a black woman and you marry again, isn't it likely that you're going to marry another black woman? I mean, you've spent 44 years with one. Why would you go all the way the opposite way in how he speaks? Why would you go all the way the opposite way and marry a white woman after 44 years of being with a black woman? There's something to it, right? There's something to why he did it. But yet, that's your hero. And yet, when this man names other black men who have married white women who have done a lot for the cause, he says it doesn't matter. It only matters with the person that you call is your hero. Okay. And his reasoning behind this is, well, I'll let you hear some more clips and I'll respond to those. But I just think so far it's interesting on how he tries to explain that, or he said that black men who marry white women want to be white. Now, I married a white woman. Do I want to be white? Let me think about that for a minute. And he said they hate themselves. Do I hate myself? Do I hate myself? I don't think I do. I think I very much love myself. I could be wrong, but I think I very much love myself. I think I'm a handsome young man and I could have dated anybody I wanted to date. And I have. I'll get into my own personal journey and talk about how I came to the point that I've come to. But before that, I just want to get into a little more of what he's talking about because he's given statistics and he says every black man needs to be with a black woman. So there are approximately 19 million black men, right? And there are 21 million black women in America. So if that's the calculation, are some of those black men going to be polyamorous? Do they get to have two? Like, how does the math work out with that? I'm just curious because, sure if we're talking polyamory, I'm sure there are some black men who would say, "Hey, yeah, I'm down with that. Hey, let's get back to it," you know. But it was just interesting to me about the numbers. And there are some other numbers that he's going to talk about in some of these other clips. And I want to, I just want to let you hear those first. and then we'll talk. All right? All right, here you go.
See, America is promoting interracial love to Black people as a way of doing what? Statistically exterminating you on paper. Did y'all hear what I just said? Statistical extermination. Statistical extermination. Statistical on paper. We're going to make it look like there's less Black people in America than there really are, so we can justify less resources, so we can justify paying less attention to Black people. They are committing statistical genocide against Blacks. See,
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Oh, this is what he does as well. He repeats things 3 times. And I know that that's a trick in psychology. If you repeat things, it stays in people's head. So it rings as true because they've heard it so many times that it's embedded in their memory. And that's kind of funny to me because he said America. He said they're doing this so that they can lessen the number of Black people. But in the last video with Martin, is his name something Martin? Oh, anyway, in the last video, he just refuted that. He said he said it's not the kid's fault. He said that any couple, white and Black, that has a child, that child is African. That's what he said. Verbatim. That child is African, and he had no choice about how he got here. However, in this video, he's saying that America's purposely trying to get Black people to move outside of their race to make it less Black people so they can give them less resources. But if they're intentionally doing it and it's making more kids from this mixed race couple, from your own mouth, those would be Black children. So how would it be less? Wouldn't it be more? Wouldn't it be more? If white women stop having sex and children with white men and they got with Black men, wouldn't that make it less white offspring and more Black offspring? I'm just asking because by his own logic, that would only make sense. Okay. So there, statistically, he's wrong. Well, not statistically, I mean, but there by his own logic in the previous video, he's wrong in his estimation about what he thinks they're trying to do. Because I don't know, I guess he thinks that there are people coming around knocking on houses of Black men in America saying, hey, I'll give you this amount of money if you get with a white woman. Or, hey, I have a sister, she's white. Why don't you check her out? Like, how are they, how are they, how are they accomplishing getting these Black men to be with white women? Like, who's the person that has this whole master plan to eliminate his own race by getting Black men to be with white women? I'm just saying, like, if that is his plan, he's he's doing something terribly wrong because he's eliminating himself. Okay, but let's keep going.
several states still had anti-miscegenation law. After they struck down anti-miscegenation law across the country, 1957 or 67, somewhere within there, Black men have married outside their race envy more than the men of all other races in America put together as a percentage. How do you explain that? Is love purely blind? I disagree. Love is a function of your values and your priorities. I'll argue the reason Black men marry white women is because they wish they were white themselves, and having the white man's prize hit up until then, several states still had anti-miscegenation law. After they struck down anti-miscegenation law across the country, 1957 or 67, somewhere within there, black men have married outside their race envy more than the men of all other races in America put together as a percentage. How do you explain that? Is love purely black?
Okay, listen. He said the miscegenation law, and he said black people. He said black men have married outside of their race. His exact words for black men have married outside of their race more than any other group put together. Any other group put together, black men have dated outside their race. Okay. So when I look it up, the marriage statistics, it says approximately 24% of newlywed black men married someone of a different race and ethnicity. So it says black men, 24%. Black women marrying outside of their race was half that, at 12%. So he said black men at 24% are marrying outside of their race more than all other groups put together. Okay. So among black men who marry outside their race, the most pairings are black men and white women. So that's the most frequent intermarried pairing is black men marrying white women. That's who black men marry more when they marry outside of their race is white women. Black men, the second largest group that black men marry outside of their race is Hispanic or Latino women. Now, since he made and his statistics are inaccurate simply because black men at 24% marry outside of their race at a higher rate than white and Asian men, though they're slightly below Hispanic and American Indian. So let me repeat that. I'm not going to do it 3 times, but let me repeat that. Black men marry outside of their race higher than white men and higher than Asian men separately. But Hispanic men and Native American men, both groups separately marry outside of their race more than black men. Black men marrying outside of the race, as I've said before, is 24%. Black women marrying outside of their race is 12%. Asian men marrying outside of their race is 21%, so only 3% less than black men. And Asian women marrying outside of their race is 36%. Hispanic men marrying outside of their race, 26%, which is 2% higher than black men. Hispanic women marrying outside of their race, 28%. White men marrying outside of their race, the same as black women, 12%. White women marrying out of their race, less than black women, 10%. American Indian marrying outside of their race, 54%. American Indian, Native American women marrying outside of their race, 61%. Do you see? So black men are at 24. The next closest thing is Asian men at 21, and everybody else is higher except white men who are at 12%. Think about that though. White men are the lowest at 12% who marry outside of their race. Now, why do you think that is? You're asking about black men, but I'm asking about white men. Why do you think they marry at the lowest rate outside of their race? Now, we know they cheat outside of their race, at a higher percent than that. But why do they marry at a lower percent? I would submit that a lot of white men don't see value in the women outside of their race. But I would also submit that a lot of those same white men have racist tendencies. They don't think anybody outside of their race is equal to them and on the same level. That's what I would submit. I mean, the white men who came to America, I'm saying the white men who came to America. I'm not saying all white men. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. The white men who came to America and engaged in slavery are obviously racist men. So their offspring, their children, then the immigrants who've come over and become part of that class had some of the same thoughts, and they followed the same theories and beliefs and traditions. So they also had racial tendencies. So they're not going to marry outside of their race. So it also says, from what I looked up, for black men, the likelihood of marrying outside their race increases with education level. So it says high school or less, 17% of black men marry out. This is the degrees in conjunction with their marrying habits. High school or less education, 17% of black men marry outside of their race. Bachelor's degrees, 30% of black men marry outside of their race. Now, the contrast to that is high earning black men, which is those black men making $100,000 or more. You would think that they marry outside of their race more, right? But they are statistically very likely to be married to black women, 83%. So all the people saying all these athletes are marrying white women and all them people saying stuff like that, 83% of men making 100K or more are marrying within their race. So those who are college educated, which with a bachelor's degree, are the highest percentage of men marrying out. Why would you think that is? I have a thought. When is it in your life that you finally get away from your surroundings and start meeting different people, different cultures, getting out of your neighborhood, getting to understand the world isn't what you thought it was in your 8-mile radius? That happens in college, right? That's when you start meeting your lifelong friends. In college is when that happens. And what also happens at college? You're away from your community. So now you're forced to mingle and interact with people who don't look like you, because no matter where you go in the country, you're likely going to run into people of different backgrounds and cultures, unless you wind up going to a HCBS, historically black college university, right? Unless you go to one of those, HBCU, you're likely going to be the minority in that school. And what do? We adapt. And what happens when you adapt? You realize people are not like you thought or were taught or were told that they were. People are pretty normal, pretty much like you. There are some differences, but those are cultural differences. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, but you learn that for the most part, you all are the same. The colors of your skin or the lack of color of your skin didn't make you much different than this other person. Now, your belief system may be different because you had to go through more, per se, right? You struggled a little more, maybe. So there are some differences. But as regular human beings go, it's not a lot of difference. It's enough, but it's not a lot. You have more in common than you do different. What also happens? You get access to these women you never had access to. You know who I fell in love with as a kid? White woman. um, Christina Applegate on Married with Children. Like, what black boy didn't think she was absolutely hot? I definitely did. And so, but that wasn't anything I ever thought was a realistic thing. You understand? It was just her role. It was just TV though. But then you get to college and the role she played on TV, you see that there are real women living that way. Now, without the ditzy thing, they like overplayed on the ditzy thing, but you see that there are women who look like that and who are open to hanging out, getting to know you, and they're intelligent. The difference is they're not like the ditzy role you saw. Some are, but you can actually have a conversation, an intellectual conversation. Now, that doesn't mean you're purposely trying to date outside your race. What that means is that you're interacting with the people in your environment. And you know what? The 5 black women that attend that school that you might go to, a lot of them are already in relationships. You understand what I'm saying? Because they've maintained the relationship that they had from high school going into college because likely their man has already went to college before them, so they were already there. Do you understand? So it's just by circumstance and a numbers game that you're not running into black women in your school. And all the black women there, you know them, they know you, and y'all have a friendly relationship because, like I said, they usually are dating. And what do? Say, well, I'm going to wait 4 years so I can make sure I'm with a black woman. Or you say, well, you know what? Every weekend, I'm going to go down south to Mississippi and make sure I can find a black one. Come on, man. Nobody's doing that because you already have made friends with the people in your surroundings. Because any man can find a woman attractive. Any man can find an attractive woman attractive. There's not a white man that I've ever spoken to who said Halle Berry is unattractive and she's hot. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's not a man who I've talked to who's black that said Jennifer Aniston isn't attractive. Do you understand? So if I'm surrounded by attractive women, white, black, Asian, Latino, the black ones they're already in a relationship, so I don't want to disrespect that by pushing up on them. A lot of white ones are available. A lot of Latino women are available. A couple of Asian women are available. And I start hanging out with them. Am I supposed to tell myself, wait, her skin is a different color, so I shouldn't want to sleep with her because her skin is a different color than her. She doesn't have as much pigmentation as I do, so it's not a good idea to like that. Don't even sound. It sounds unintelligent if I'm being honest, and it sounds disingenuous to think that that's how life works. Now you think I'm in the same school as these white men who marry outside of their race at 12%. So guess what? They're also surrounded by the same women I'm surrounded by, the white women, the Asian women, the Latino women. and it's a couple of black women. And if one gets with a black woman, that's it. The rest of them, they can only choose from the Latino, Asian, and white women. That's it. That's all that's left. So we are choosing from that same pot of women. They're in abundance, but the black women are not. So now you graduate college, and what happens? You go out into the world. Now, if you've been fortunate enough to, after you're messing around, to find a woman that you're like, wow, this is great. This woman cares about me. She does everything for me, and kind of lucky. I didn't know this existed. Graduate college. Should I then break up with her? Because again, she doesn't have enough pigmentation. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that makes sense. So now what? You move forward, and if you stay with her, or if y'all wind up breaking up, or whatever the case, now your experience, your lived experience is different now. I'm not contained to this one group of women anymore. I'm not looking for a black woman now. I'm not looking for a white woman now. I'm looking for a woman who treats me like the one that I missed out on in college. The one who treated me right, but I wasn't ready to settle down, so I messed around on her, broke her heart. But I want a woman like that. And that woman is likely white, Latino, or Asian, because I didn't have a chance to be with a black woman in the college. Do you understand? Like, that's how life works. Any man with any common sense knows this. Or if you didn't, I'm trying to give you some game on it. It's just what it is. Nobody's doing it because they want to be white. Like, why would I want to be white? That will do nothing for me. Like, I'm proud to be black and to have accomplished all the things I've accomplished because I believe if I were white, I wouldn't have tried as hard and I wouldn't have gotten as far. Or maybe I would have. I don't know. But there's nothing about whiteness that makes me feel like that's something I need to be. I'm happy living the life I've lived. And at the same time, I would hope white people feel the same way. Do you understand? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get why a person thinks because of the pigmentation of your skin, you should feel like you can only relate in life to a person who has the same pigmentation. But there's more. So I'll let you see what more he's saying.
Oh, you're ugly. I can only imagine what the white girls called you. So stop making excuses for your bunny hopping and just admit you hate yourself. And that's why you're dating and marrying outside the race. Shannon Sharp.
You hate yourself. Now, so this is this guy who said you hate yourself because you're dating outside your race and how black women don't have men stand in their lives and we're letting them down and all that. What's interesting about that is that he has a child, a daughter. He may have more, but this is the one I know about. His daughter is on the internet all the time saying he's not in her life. She hates him. So this man who was trying to convince black women that they're queens and they deserve it all. They deserve men who are going to stick there and fight for them. These black children who are the seeds of foundational or Pan-Africanism. He don't even see his own kid. What about the black woman who he impregnated? Did you marry her? Did you even marry her? Did you even think it that much about her, that black queen? Did you even marry her? Or did you have a kid out of wedlock? And if you did marry her, you divorced her, so you're part of the statistic that you're talking about, huh? I never married anyone and divorced them. I've been married once in my life. I'm 54. I've only been married once. I ain't leave nobody. You left a kid and a queen to come out here and preach to other black women about what a real black man is. And let's get real. Black women, do you know why he does that? Let me tell you why. Because you're the ones who are funding his campaign to build this school that's taking 10 years to build. His donations come from black women. He is exploiting black women. Why do you think he's running around saying the things that he says? All you have to do is look at his life. You don't have to listen to any man. All you have to do is look at his life and see if he's living out his words. He has a daughter, a young queen, a young black woman who is going to be one day the black woman that he's talking to, that he doesn't have any contact with. He has another black queen who he had that young queen with, that young princess with, who he's not with anymore. Look at the evidence before you listen to lip service and let someone like that exploit you. He's making a living off the suffering of black women while telling you what you deserve, but taking your money to do it. He's the worst kind of person. And it's pathetic, it's sad, and I really liked him. I was really a person that was hungry for information, for the information, and he fed well. I was just experienced enough in life to know when a con was being run on me. I didn't donate 1 cent to the school, and I wouldn't, because as soon as I saw him trying to do everything himself, I knew I registered as a con in my head. No one builds a business by themselves. No one. No one who's successful, I'll say. You can't be the maintenance man. You can't be the principal. You can't be the teacher. You can't be the gardener. You can't be the accountant. You can't be the security guard. You cannot be all those things and be successful in anything. And when I seen him talking about he's doing it all on his own, he don't trust nobody, it furthermore let me know that this is a con. And if it's not a con, it cannot be successful. Because you see how, like when I do the transitions, like to this camera here, right? When I do the transitions, like to this camera here, right? And then I know it's going back here. When I do those transitions, like I'm doing that myself. You know, you see my arm move, like I'm doing that. But I'm kind of having fun with it right now. But at a point, it's possible if this channel grows, then I'm not going to be able to do that by myself. Like I'm not even going to want to do that by myself because I'm going to want to focus, and it has to look more professional the more people that come in, right? And so I'm going to have a team, you know, who's doing that fading in, and they know how to, you know, whatever. Right now, I'm pretty much enjoying it. It's not a huge responsibility right now, but at some point, it may become a responsibility, and my responsibility is talking to you and making sure I focus and take notes and have my numbers and statistics and screens and teleprompters, and so I know what I'm talking about. You know, it'll be a production, is what I'm saying. Right now, it's me giving my thoughts, and it feels good. I'm learning how to work the equipment that I got, so it feels kind of good. It's the fun times right now, and it may never get bigger than this. I'm fine with that too because I don't depend on this for money. I do this because I need a place for output. And I know that there's some people out there who feels similar to what I feel. And hopefully they find me, and the ones who have already found me, hopefully I'm feeding you the food that you need to then go out and have some statistics or some resource or some answers. Not all the answers, I don't know, right? But some answers or just a reprieve, or just a little time away from your day, your life, right? You might be listening to me in your car on the way home or on the way to work, and just to have a little freedom away from your life, hopefully that's enjoyable for you. And then next thing you know, you get to your destination, you're right back into it. Right. So, yeah. So, was that it? Oh, yeah. So, on the last slide, you seen there was a black woman who put that slide up, and she was like, saying, "Y'all hear him? Yeah, he's preaching. He's saying the right things, ma'am. Please don't listen. Look, look before you listen, or look while you're listening. Don't just listen, because if you're just listening, you're just hearing what someone wants you to hear. You have to pull back the curtain to really see what's going on. Do not let somebody sell you a brick or a box of bricks and tell you it's a VCR or a DVD player or a Apple MacBook. I had to start from back there and move forward, but don't let that happen. We are in the internet age. Speaking of MacBook, we are in the internet age. You can Google anything. I'll show you how quick it is, right? I just picked up my phone and I'm going, instead of the Google search, I go to the AI search and ask, when did Dr. Umar start taking payments for his school? Now, before I push send, recently he was just on the show saying, it's after 7 years, it's here, it's here. Check it out, y'all. Oh yeah, all the haters, all the so and so and so and so. So he said 7 years, right? Okay, I push go. It says Dr. Umar Johnson begins soliciting donations for his school, the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey FDMG Academy, around 2014. Now, he's saying on the internet that he started looking, or he started 7 years ago. It's been 7 long years, but now we finally here. It's still not open today, but he's talking like it is. It's finally here. We open, so all the struggle streamers and so it says, as of early 2026, his funding efforts have spanned approximately 11 to 12 years. While he has reportedly raised over $2 million in that time, the project has faced significant financial and legal hurdles. Initial initiative, 2014. Property acquisition, 2019. Proposed opening, 2024. Financial crisis, 2025. He revealed his personal and business bank accounts were frozen. During this time, the FDMG campus faced potential sheriff sale due to approximately $72,000 in unpaid vacant property fees and utilities owed to the city of Wilmington. Now, mind you, he raised $5 million, or he got at least $2 million. He ain't pay $72,000. Recent status, February 2026. On February 16, 2026, Johnson announced the completion of the school building and stated plans to request a government inspection. Despite this, as of earlier 2026, the school remains unlicensed and unaccredited by the Delaware Department of Education with no enrolled students or active faculty. Current payment methods, Johnson continues to solicit restoration funds donations through the official website and social media platforms using PayPal and Venmo, Cash App, mailed contribution to a P.O. box in Wilmington, and so on and so forth. It took me 31 seconds to find that. And you think that's a lie. You think there's some government officials typing that in there so it makes him look bad. Do you think he's that important that the government is out to make him look bad? I mean, if he was that important, he'd be in prison right now because the government will be asking him where those donations went. He's been soliciting and collecting funds for since 2020, since 2014, 12 years. He's been living off you people for 12 years. Like, if you want to send money, I mean, send me $1 each. I mean, after 12 years, at least I'd be able to show you I'm in a nicer house, nicer car. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, it's ridiculous. So, anyway, oh man. So, this was a good one for me. I just had to get into this, and I'm happy I'm using my new equipment now and, just starting to learn how to work it. It took me a full week to learn how to get it operational, up and running. So I feel good that I'm starting to learn how to run it. It's just with this secondary camera here, I have to keep pushing the button every 30 minutes to turn it to wake it back up. There's no way to make it stay up. So got to deal with that. But I did find alternative battery where you put the battery in and then you plug the battery up to AC in it. So the battery doesn't run out. It stays plugged up to the AC. So that's good. Other than that, hopefully I can get on tomorrow and this weekend. Between tomorrow, Friday, and this weekend, I should be able to make 3 or 4 more podcasts. So now that my equipment, I'm starting to learn how to work it. I'm gonna be up and rolling, and one of the bigger things was learning how to get video footage onto my screen. That was a challenge. You know what? I'll make a podcast and tell you how challenging that was, because that was a real challenge. So, I still don't have it perfected. So again, I'm gonna continue to work at it to get it better and improve it. So y'all go on a journey with me, and in a world that evolves in all ways, make sure your foundation is eternal. Love always. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next frequency. Until then, Eli. It's this one. So until then, Eli. Frequently. Have a good one. Enjoy your day. You looking good, man. How you doing?
I'm fine.
That's good. My name's CDN. What's your name?
My name's Hadilla.
It's a beautiful name, but I just call you Hot.
I guess you can.
So what would it take for a man like me to get with a woman as fine as you?
You really want to know what it takes to get with a girl like me?
For sure. Your gravity, bringing them strings. Yeah, let's add some emotion to this scene. Yeah.